Yes, yes. Dear friends, as Vibhaji said a few words right now, true enough, all of us are starting this session of the webinar with certain heaviness in our heart. Our very dear friend and a great inspiration to all of us who suddenly came into our life about 3 years ago. But in the last 3 years, you can't imagine how close he was and how, with great enthusiasm, dedication, he guided all this project. This webinar is mostly thanks to his perseverance. He ensured that it started and he was keeping an eye on it all the time. A great human being, a very loving and lovable person. However, God's will is very difficult to understand. Um, so he has proceeded to his heavenly abode. We begin with a prayer to the Almighty to give him Sadgati. We will surely miss him. With these words, and with a quick apology for a little delay, the connectivity issue here for just a little while was a problem. Now it seems stable. We begin the discussion on the theme that we have chosen. The theme or the topic is sadness a mere habit? I trust that the topic, the wording of the topic itself is self-explanatory. We are asking, is there a real basis for our sadness, if not every time, on occasions? Or is it on occasions a mere mechanical process? You and I these days claim to be very educated. We have gone round the world. We have seen many things. You have an expression, been there, done that. I have been there and I have done that with respect to anything and everything almost. However, from time immemorial, this is not really a new problem. Humanity has had one issue. Humanity in no time tends to be mechanical. What is meant by becoming mechanical? It is as simple as this. You know, it seems in a certain guru's ashram, during certain months, sunshine used to, the sun used to enter the lecture hall and was causing a bit of a problem. It must be one of those tropical places where the sun can be rather nasty, making the whole place too hot. So exactly as the class was to begin, some student would go and pull the curtain to prevent the sun from entering the hall. But as time passed, it was now a different season and the sun now was most welcome. But then the student would just go and like ever before, would pull the curtain and then sit down for the class. This is a simple example of what is mechanical. When we do something with no understanding of the present moment, when we do something as mere habit, or what is more, when we do something out of certain forces at work, these forces being rooted in some past incident, that is called mechanical. Our mind becomes mechanical. Our brain becomes mechanical. We do the same thing again and again, whether it is relevant or not. We repeat things without realizing that the other person may have heard it already, the other person may know it already, and so on. Now come to sadness itself. What do we exactly mean by asking, is our sadness a habit? Is it mechanical? We must understand that, permit me to give one more analogy. People sometimes eat though they are not hungry at all. In fact, I don't know much medical stuff, but I believe that there is some kind of disorder in human psyche, in human psychology, call as you may, when a person, because of certain inner disturbance, goes on eating, goes on munching, goes on taking something out from the refrigerator and putting it into his mouth. No hunger. Without hunger, one reaches for food. In that manner, without a true cause at this present moment, do we just ride the wave of sadness? That is the significance of this question. Now, I must say that in spirituality, in this wonderful, beautiful, great science of Vedanta, or why call it Vedanta, in the science of living, you get it from anywhere, we don't care. Everybody should get a handle on this science of living that will make his or her life so much more meaningful. Whether it's from Zen Buddhism or from Vedanta, from Sufi tradition or Christian mysticism or from some source which has no name. Somebody in Timbuktu gave you an insight. No system, no name. How does it matter? We are not attached here to particular books or particular system, but then we happen to be exposed and happen to be trained in the Vedanta approach. Therefore, we tend to quote from it. Otherwise, it's open. It's very available, and one can take it. One can receive it from anywhere. Please go ahead. So, in the science of living, I wish to say that our mind becomes mechanical. A whole lot of, not just sadness, which we are talking about in this session, a whole lot of things have no relevance or no validity at this moment, but we go on doing it. In the Mundaka Upanishad, this mechanical way of living is called pramāda. There's a powerful mantra in the Mundaka Upanishad. We gave it in the abstract also as the emails went out about this webinar. Satyena labhyaha tapasa hyesha atma samyagnanena brahmacharyena nityam. And that is one famous mantra talking about Satya. And then there is the apramadat. There's another mantra. I think I give me a moment. Yeah. I just went to a different page. That doesn't matter. Okay. Here. Yeah, this is the mantra. Nayamatma balahinena labhyo nacha pramadat tapaso vapi alingat. This Atma, by Atma is meant Atma Jnana, this Atma is not gained. It's not possible to gain this highest insight, highest understanding, the liberating, the freeing wisdom unless we have inner strength, bala. Then, unless we are free of pramāda. Normally, this pramāda, the Sanskrit word, is translated as error. Unless we come out of error. But what is this error? I have enough reason to interpret it as no other than mechanicalness. And just a while ago I was saying, not just sadness, our attachments are in fact mechanical. There was a time, let us say, when we were finding happiness in a child, son, daughter, grandson, neighbor, somebody. And okay, that person also perhaps found relating to us very meaningful. And if our brain becomes mechanical, we don't let go. Many a time it happens to parents. The son, the daughter has grown up. The son, the daughter has taken wings. She or he has his own life. But the mother, the father, he is so possessive. The mother or the father wants the son or daughter to be always in front of their eyes and do what they want him or her to do, and so on and so forth. You know what happens in attachment. We are not able to distinguish between attachment and love. In love, we give space to each other. In attachment, it is all about expecting. I expect my son to do this to me this morning, this evening, or tomorrow when he comes home. And if he doesn't do what I expected of him, I'm shattered. I'm devastated. There are all these big words. Now examine, what is this attachment? No wonder Adi Shankara, explaining this word pramāda, says it is born of attachment to wealth, children, family members, and so on. Whether we go to Himalayas or go to some distant corner of Europe or Australia, whether you move from town to the village or the other way around, go wherever you want to. You are going to find it very difficult to come out of some equations in your head. Such and such person alone can give me happiness. Such and such place alone. Such and such job alone. Such and such company alone. And so on and so forth. You see, we are talking psychology, and I am never tired of saying that spirituality begins where we transcend psychology, where we rise above the mechanical mind. There is an intelligent mind, and then there is the mechanical mind. If you and I are stuck in the mechanical mind, no matter how qualified we are, how much we earn per month or per week, how much popular we are, how much famous we are, how much well received in the society we are, if we are caught in the mechanical mind, then we are not at peace. Our life has no freshness or no fragrance of originality. We are, in fact, repeating things. We have actually become like puppets in the hands of our own old patterns. Please see, to be free of mechanicalness doesn't mean do something different every day. If you are going to office by this road today, go by another road tomorrow, and yet another by day after tomorrow. That is not the way to remove mechanicalness. Go if you want by the same road, but you don't drive or you don't just get going merely by habit. You are fully aware. You are fully, attentive. Some of us, let us say, have been wearing a wristwatch. And let's do this exercise. One day don't wear the wristwatch and just count how many times you will look at your wrist, though there is no watch. You will look at oh, that's not there. Let me see in my mobile. Let me see it somewhere else. But after 5 minutes, again you lift your wrist, and because you are so used to, you know. So are we doing things, and this becomes more significant when it has to do with emotions, when we become very emotional. Next time you are excited, very happy, just take a second look at what's happening. Is there some real in the present moment cause for happiness? Or are you excited because some memory came up, some kind of old pattern rose and this pattern hijacked you? Nacha pramadat ayam atma labhyaha. And therefore it is said apramatta. One has to be apramatta. In another mantra it is said, some of you know, apramattena veddavyaha. Pramāda is mechanicalness. Coming back to sadness, sadness is a terrible thing, I tell you. You may say you don't have to tell, sir, sadness is a terrible thing. Well, I understand. But what I mean is, sadness is a problem not only by itself, it leads to other problems also. When we are sad, we may do wrong things. When we are sad, we may start judging people wrongly. When we are sad, we may blame people. She is responsible, he is responsible, and so on. When we are sad, we may lose our ability to do even simple right things. There is some simple thing which is the right thing to do at a given point of time. But if we are sad, we say, I don't want to do. Why not? It doesn't take much time. Why not? It doesn't take much energy. Just get up and do it. Ha, you know, there is no mood, we say. I am down today. So, sadness, I am trying to say, is a very undesirable feeling within us, and it further incapacitates us from living rightly. That can further cause sadness. So that's what we call a vicious circle. Now, all right, what is the way out? Is all this Vedanta only to describe in great detail how we are miserable without giving a remedy? Well, the remedy is repeatedly mentioned. The highest remedy is to live in alertness. The antidote to pramāda, the antidote to be simply habitual, thoughtlessly habitual, habit driven, the remedy, the antidote is to be watchful. One has to go slow. However, I am not a person who will dismiss all other sadhanas. Suppose you do some study, you some meditation, you repeat God's name, you sit quietly in a natural surrounding, you develop contact with nature, let us say. All these are good. In fact, you will easily see that these practices, in fact, empower you, enable you to be more aware. Many of these practices help you to subdue, to weaken some strong tendencies of the past. Suppose you are doing Om Namah Shivaya Japa. In a hurry or in haste, you may imagine, who will sit half an hour, who will sit 45 minutes, or even if it is 15 minutes, what's going to happen? I don't think anything will happen by my repeating Om Namah Shivaya. You know, with a little guidance and with a little love of God, when you sit, you will actually see. Within 2 or 3 minutes, some memories come. Within 5 or 6 minutes, your mind tries to plan for something. And a part of you even recognizes that this kind of thought has been coming to me for so long. This fancy, this imagination, this vain desire has been hitting me, not recently, for a very long time. The Shastras, the scriptures have called this Kama, Krodha. There was a friend who sat for doing Om Namah Shivaya. 5 minutes into the japa, he remembered there was some ice cream in the refrigerator. He jumped and ran to the refrigerator, took it. Now, this is what I call a wild tendency. Such a strong tendency, the thought of, there is some ice cream in the fridge, you know, made him so mechanically jump out, like a robot or like some puppet, you switch a button, the puppet acts in a certain way. Now, later he felt ashamed. Hey, what did I do? Then the best thing is sit again. After a few minutes again the thought will come. This time maybe it is about some coffee. Whatever. You know. Hold. Subdue it. I don't mean subdue it in some ruthless, some violent way. Through understanding. Develop your willpower. Other day I read some wonderful scholar. What did he say? Beautifully he said, willpower associated with wisdom is very healthy. Otherwise, we call it a dogged willpower. It almost borders on obstinacy. Some people have some willpower which is of the flavor of being stubborn. Sometimes they tend to not listen to anybody and they actually become very stupid. So I like that author, I forgot his name. He wrote beautifully, willpower associated with wisdom is very helpful. So when you sit for Om Namah Shivaya, 20 minutes let us say, let thoughts come. Gently drop them. Just put them aside. Don't cry, don't complain, oh, I am getting very vulgar thoughts. It is bound to happen. In fact, you should be surprised if you don't get vulgar thoughts in japa. So vulgar thoughts, violent thoughts, sad thoughts, bad thoughts, they do come. What is important is not that they should not come. What is important is you must handle them maturely. And as you handle them, you subdue, you really weaken this kind of thoughts. And when these are weakened, your mechanicalness reduces. Rest of the day and at other times, at other places, you will be able to act in a more sensible manner. Even as an old tendency is rising, you will say, I know, this is how always it has been, but let me watch. And then you see that this is some old trash. I'm not going to follow this thought. So this session's theme has been sadness. Is it a mere habit? 90% of it is. I'm not going to say 100% because, you know, certain things are so objectively saddening. There is no subjective, there's no, we are not spicing it up. It truly saddens us. Some near and dear one dies. Some money we have earned with great difficulty gets stolen. When we are hoping to do something, our health fails. A good friend leaves us. All this cause sadness. But I would dare say, even when there are genuine reasons to be sad, probably a certain portion of it is a mechanical movement. For a little bit of genuine sadness, there is 3 times or 5 times of sadness caused by conditioning, caused by certain influences, caused by certain image consciousness. Like I am sad I lost money, which I had earned with great difficulty. So that is genuine. Now another part of me says, problem is really I can earn again. I will again work hard and earn. Problem is a few people have come to know. Now they will look at me as such a fool who kept the money somewhere carelessly and then it was not found. I lost it. So people will look at me as a fool. They will say he is so stupid. He lost the money because of carelessness. Carelessness. So more than losing the money, suppose I am worried because of the image, my negative image, then that's a different issue. And that conditioning to a large extent is mechanical, is a habit. Therefore, friends, it is of utmost importance. It is unbelievably significant for you and me to spend time here and there. The best thing, of course, you don't have to exclusively to do anything. On the go, on the fly, online, as we use the word these days. Even as you and I are handling responsibilities and emotions arise, we can go a bit slow about how we deal with them rather than getting carried away, rather than adding fuel to the fire. We can say, oh, hold on. What is this happening to me? What is this jealousy? What is this sadness? Take a look at. If necessary, repeat your mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Then you find you can handle the mechanical movement of thought a little better. Though at the higher level, it is through just awareness only. Therefore, Nayamatma pramādat labhyaha. As long as we behave as per a program, we behave like programmed entities, self-knowledge is going to be far, far away from us. And the good news is, as we remain watchful, then without much scholarship, without knowing Sanskrit, without wearing some special dress or getting some title as Swami, etc., we will be free. We will be living in peace. The contradictions reduce. Therefore, I have proposed through this question, is sadness a mere habit? I have proposed to show that there is a whole lot of yantravat, as the expression goes, like a machine, just repeating. Old patterns emerge and then they get going. We are helplessly pushed around by these psychological patterns. If that could be noticed, noticing them itself is a major step. That if that could be noticed and we get a better handle on the way our mind is functioning, then sadness to a large extent reduces and the evils that follow sadness also reduce. Let me pause here and I invite questions. Please raise the hand as there is a facility in this software. Hari Om. Right now I don't see any hand. Are people tongue-tied or hand-tied? Sometimes when no one speaks, they say she is tongue-tied. Here it could be hand-tied also, I guess. Or is there a software problem?
Swamiji, there is a question by Prakash Shiva. He has typed there, Swamiji.
In the text, then I have to go then to questions.
Questions.
Yeah. Is sadness and depression go hand in hand? Yeah, I'm sure they tend to go hand in hand. Generally, depression is a word used for not just feeling sad, but sort of remaining sad for a length of time. Then we say, I have a problem of depression. It goes to such an extent that one doesn't even know why one is sad. Whereas ordinary sadness is, I am sad and I know why I am sad. Whereas depression is, I just am at a low and I have forgotten even the reason how it all happened. Here and there I may slightly remember. So yes, I would say with my limited knowledge of psychology, I'm sure there are various classifications. I would say yes, sadness and depression can can go together. What are the options I have to deal with sadness? So what are the options? So there are two options. One is, not when sadness hits you, things that you can do before they hit you, things that you can do offline, as they say. As the idiom goes, make hay when the sun shines. So when you are all right, be regular in your workouts, be regular in some spiritual study, be regular in your prayers and meditations. Then when certain things go wrong, you will find you have a greater inner strength to face them all. And the higher option is, the second option is when sadness hits you, in and through sadness, in between sadness, what do? Number one, don't add fuel to the fire. Do not accentuate it. Do not further increase it by justifying or by going to more and more associated memories. Isolate that sadness. And if you love God, take the name, repeat the name of God and weaken this thought. Or if you are a Jnana Margi, have some, short passages, short good thoughts that cheer you up. And as they say, resort to them. Take shelter in them. Like when, in India nowadays it's so hot in most of the places. So when it is so hot, sun is so hot, you go to a shade, below a tree, below some shade, and there it is better. So is the case with sadness. Stand under a good thought, a good idea, a good vision, and then your sadness becomes less. Where did the hands go? Dashboard, I think the attendees. Okay. Now do I see any hand? Not really. And now do I see any questions? I do not have a speaker, so I have typed the question. Oh, that's fine. Okay. So I wonder whether this hand feature itself has a problem. So can Vibhaji or Srinath raise the hand for just checking the feature?
Swamiji, I don't have that.
Ah,
I
yes,
don't have
Srinath's
that
hand,
question.
yeah, correct. Hand will come up, yeah, no problem. Srinath's hand has come up, so I click on that and unmute him. So I think Srinath
Swamiji, it
has
is
either
working.
question or sadness.
I don't have any question at this moment, but I just wanted to, check out that hand raise. So it looks like it is working.
Right,
Thank you.
right. So friends, basically though we are taking different topics, you will easily see they are all interrelated. And that's good news actually. We don't need multiple technologies here. If we very much understand this, the teaching of mindfulness, teaching of awareness, teaching of alertness, I myself discovered after studying a lot of all these Upanishads that Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnana is awareness. That is of immense value and not memorizing mantras, which doesn't mean, stop studying the text. They help you. But the essence of it all is to live in certain alertness so that our own mind doesn't deceive us. Much sorrow comes to us because of self-deception, not because Tom, Dick or Harry has deceived us, but our own mind throws us off balance. We deceive ourselves in a manner of saying. So it's wonderful all of you joined this webinar and we shall meet again another time. Namaste.
Yes.
Hari Om.
Swamiji, there's a question by Venkat Vardhini.
By raising hand or by text?
By
Yeah, I
raising
can see
hand.
that. Yes, Venkat, how are you doing? I've unmuted your microphone.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Very well, very clearly.
Okay. See this, I used to have these sad thoughts. I tolerated them for a long time.
Mhm.
Once I came on this, once I understood that there is a solution from the scriptures and other techniques like meditation and all,
Mhm.
then some of the techniques I practiced are when the sad thoughts are rising intensively,
Yeah,
I did a
okay.
japa, and then they go away. Means the intensity goes down and slowly the thought uh, it comes down. Then I practice witnessing the thoughts.
Oh, good, good.
So through japa and witnessing the thoughts, I have completely taken control of my thoughts now.
Yeah,
So at will I can take them on now. So they don't really come and bother me anymore. They're still around.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they are not disappeared. They're there in my system.
Correct.
But they show up occasionally. But like a security guard, I just watch them and
Correct.
shot them down.
Right.
So that's what my practice, and I'm really successful in that. So I just wanted to share
Wonderful.
my own experiences of.
In fact, when you said the two stages by mantra or japa,
Yeah.
you come up to a certain stage, then you act as the witness. You witness your own
Yes.
thoughts. My mind immediately went to how Maharshi Ramana said, observe your breathing and quieten your mind, then contemplate on the pure self, Atma. He has given the two stages in
The
Upadesha.
problem is,
Yeah,
some of these techniques like observation,
right.
it needs a stability in the mind in your system
Which most
even
of
before
us
you
don't
observe,
have.
because
Correct.
this breathing is so intensive and it's like it's going to blow out of your system. You feel like that at times.
Right.
That kind of times mechanical chanting in a rigorous mechanical chanting, whatever may be there, Om Namah Shivaya, it could be Ram, 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 Ram,
Correct.
anything.
Correct.
So there wasn't much time left to observe the breathing.
Correct.
Those occasions,
Correct.
I really intensive chanting helped me.
Yeah, yeah. True, true. So there is a
Ram Swami, there is a
yeah. There is a
there's
question.
a question by
Ah.
Vaman Nayak.
Vaman Nayak, yes, I see a question mark. So that means I have to go to
In the question, and you can on the right hand side there's a question, below dashboard poll, and there's a question.
Yeah, I am able to read his question now. Swamiji, I first heard you in Ramakrishna Mission, Mumbai. That I remember, we talked to each other. I am grateful to you for having taken me under your fold in the spiritual path. Thanks once again, Vaman Pangal Nayak. Yeah. So he has just expressed a thought.
Before that,
Before that, is there a question?
there's a question. What can I do to help? Yes. What can I do to help my well-wishers when they are in sadness?
Right, I am able to read it. What can I do to help my well-wishers when they are in sadness? You need to find out what they are receptive to. See, among your well-wishers, when they are sad, some may be receptive to a little advice. If they are open to advice, give them some advice. Some may get more agitated if you advise them, though they are your well-wishers, because people have some ego of their own, And suppose you find they are not open to any advice, and you find out what makes them open up. Sometimes perhaps just listening as though you don't know anything, just listening to their story, their sad tale, and sympathizing, empathizing, and sometimes asking some gentle questions. Suppose they start blaming some X or Y, and you in your heart know that it is not proper to blame X or Y for this state of affairs. But if you say don't blame them, then they get offended. Then you may ask a gentle question, do you really think so and so is such a wicked person? So that also offends them. They say, what do you mean? He is very wicked. Then what do you say? Maybe, I don't know. But I just wondered whether, so you shake, you loosen their thought pattern, it will help them. Your well-wishers, because they are sad because of a particular ways of thinking. Those ways of thinking need to be a little bit shaken. Then they themselves will discover the right way of thinking. Is that
Just one or two words, Swamiji. So, when I consulted my guru at the time,
okay?
he used to say, these two will pass away. Nothing is going to be around for a long time.
Yeah.
Just assurance sometimes helps a lot. Some person in whom you have the confidence,
True.
they will have to just say, there's nothing.
Correct.
This is just another 5 minutes, it will be gone. That kind of assurance really helps the person to get the strings
Correct.
of his mind and take it under control.
Yeah, well said. When we have Vishwasa in somebody,
So my master helped me like
that person's words have a greater impact on us. You are right. Correct.
Yeah. That's why guru is needed. Otherwise, everybody can become self.
Yeah.
Initial stages, you definitely need a guru.
Yeah. Correct. Some guidance is helpful.